Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our monthly episode of Bobby Reacts to the balance changes for the upcoming season. We got Season 8 on the way, and we have the 20th different tiny nerf to the USS 9. They seem dead set on not giving it any type of a meaningful nerf, but hopefully this once again pushes it a little bit closer to not being in the number 1 spot. Bullet speed reduced from 660 meters per second down to 600. Better than nothing. It's going to drop off the range time to kill by a few milliseconds. I don't know why they don't just nerf either the range, the multipliers, literally anything that would be meaningful. But it is what it is. The Nostock removing the movement speed buff is actually kind of maybe bigger than the bullet speed, because Nostock is kind of like a default attachment, and it gives 4% movement speed. That's effectively a 4% movement speed nerf. So I guess we'll take that where we can get it. Type 25, which I believe, from what I've seen, is supposed to be pretty comparable to the Ram 7. That's probably part of the reason they're buffing it. Increase the upper arm multipliers from 1 to 1.1 and BSA improvement by like 33%. So that's actually not bad at all. I don't think it's going to change a whole lot, but it'll be interesting. If the Maddox increased lower arm multiplier by 0.1 and range profile 5 meters on the second damage phase and the third damage phase is actually not bad at all. MG82, that's a new one. I don't think I've even used this yet. Range profile increased by 5 meters, so that'll be nice as well. And reduce the vertical and horizontal recoil. Seems like next season might be the perfect time for me to try the MG82 for the first time. Chickum damage profile. 1 extra damage in the second damage phase. That's not going to do anything. Groza, one of the worst ARs in the game. Headshot multiplier from 1.3 to 1.5. That's pretty substantial. Chest multiplier from 1.2 to 1.3. VDV reinforced. Lower arm multiplier from 1 to 1.1. Not bad. I don't think it's going to make it meta, but, you know, a little bit more usable. ASVAL mid-range barrel, increase bullet speed buff by 10% and range buff by 10%. Okay, that's nice. Quick response barrel, I don't actually know what that does. Now it increases chest multiplier and lower arm multiplier. Couple interesting attachment buffs for the ASVAL. Definitely going to have to give those a try. RUS 75U, 1 extra damage in the second damage phase. MAC 10 range profile improved by 1 meter, 0 meters, 4 meters. It's something, I guess. Stomach multiplier up to 1 instead of 0.9. Not bad, not bad. Outlaw lower arm multiplier increased by... Okay, that's actually very interesting, because I think the lower arm is the multiplier that makes the Outlaw drop off in one shot consistency over range. So the Outlaw actually might be kind of good now. I'll have to look at the numbers on that, but that's actually very intriguing. Buff to stopping power for the Locust. Hit flinch reduced as well, but reduced fire interval penalty from 10% down to 5% for stopping power. That's pretty much the go-to attachment for any Locust player. So hopefully a W buff. Maybe that means the Electron's coming back once again as well. BSA buff on the AMAX. 13 down to 10, 20 down to 19. Not too bad. Increase the damage in the third and fourth phases by 1 and 2 damage. Okay. They want more people to use that free legendary. Kilo 141, lower arm multipliers increased by 0.1. Marksman barrel reduced the ADS penalty. That was one of the ones that I felt like was kind of a go-to attachment. So 6% ADS buff effectively. Remove the movement speed penalty on the extended mag A. Reduce the movement speed penalty on the extended mag B. So the marksman barrel is going to get a lot more, or the Kilo in general is just going to get a lot more aggressive. I wonder if that means they're bringing back the mythic for that as well, or maybe we're getting a new legendary. I guess we'll have to see. Striker pellet count increased by 2. Isn't that also effectively a damage buff? Doesn't that mean you have like 2 more pellets that can do damage? Couldn't that be kind of crazy? I know it's on the outer spread, but even then, like, that should help substantially, right? Maybe I'm crazy on that. We got a crossbow buff for BR. That is one of the most random things. Damage profile from 100 to 150. You know, maybe crossbow meta in BR. That'd be kind of wild. Definitely don't think anybody saw that coming. BR nerfed the HS2126. I know a lot of people use that. Death Machine duration reduced. That was definitely necessary because that thing lasts forever. Tempest stun duration reduced. That was necessary as well because there's literally no way to escape the stun from like the extra shock damage or whatever. So you're literally just stuck sitting there doing nothing for 5 seconds. TAC redeployment respawn limit increased from 2 to 3. It's still going to be useless, but you know what? Slightly less useless. Same for the Headache. Radius increase. Don't see anybody ever using that, but you know what? Good for them for buffing it. Cluster Strike got a little bit more expensive. I don't feel like we see that many Cluster Strikes, but you know what? Once again, not going to complain about any type of nerf we get to a score streak ever. Flash Strike, detonation time. What is Flash Strike? 2 seconds to 1 second. Is that everything? Okay. I mean, not a crazy buffs and nerfs. I'm not going to try to stretch this out or anything because there's not really a ton to talk about with this one. There's not anything that's game-changing. Definitely nice quality of life changes, but once again, they're not nerfing any of the meta in a meaningful way, so I don't feel like there's a whole lot else to talk about. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you guys in the next one.